Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Hanging with Heather, and today I want to talk about I officially got my first prepping item, and it is a water filter. So there it is, my first prepping item, and it's it's a slow start, a small start, but I was inspired by a recent video by a YouTuber named Canadian Prepper, and he was giving very good advice for people who are just starting out and to think about emergency preparedness, um, and who don't have maybe a vast amount of money to spend and you know have that off-grid place, or um, you know you have to start small and you have to start somewhere, and you're not going to have like a year's worth of supply of food in your pantry. So my biggest takeaway from that was take it slow. And also, I didn't have to break the bank getting that small water filter. Um, I spent maybe 24 Canadian dollars on it. There was only two brands available. So I was literally at just picking up some laundry detergent and other random items that regular people need. And they had a camping section. And I went into the camping section and they had two different types of water filters. And the only difference that a layperson like myself could see was that one could filter up to 1,000 liters, and the one that I purchased can filter up to 1,500 liters. And it expires around a year after its first use. Um, but yeah, it should be good technically up to 1,500 liters. And because I have children and I have a large family, I thought, I'll get the one that can filter more water. When I think about emergency preparedness and like the natural assets that you would need in those situations, the number one thing I always think about is water. Like, you cannot live more than a few days without becoming dehydrated. And I was reading about dehydration, and I'll link the article I was reading, and it's pretty scary, how quickly dehydration can occur, and the side effects and consequences of dehydration. And in my case, I had to think, okay, first you have to find a source of water, and then the second thing is, even if you have a source of water, that does not mean it's clean, and you can get sick from waterborne illnesses. And as a rural Quebecer, I'm very fortunate. I have a source of water, like literally just outside my window here. I have a river, and I have my own well. But should the electricity go out for a long period of time, more than a few days, which it has happened here in Quebec, um, you know, you would need access to clean drinking water. It's not complicated. It's not difficult to find. Mine at the local store, there was only two brands, like I said. But one thing that struck me was the limited amount of stock they had on hand. And the location I bought it in had a population of over, 30,000 people. It was in a suburb of Montreal. It got me thinking, like, if an emergency situation happened and everyone had to go out and look for something like this, there was maybe like 10, max maybe 15 water filters of both brands, like including both brands, available at that store. I mean, they may have only had 10 on the shelf and maybe just a couple more in the stock room, but um, there's just not enough personal water filters available to the population should an emergency situation occur. So I didn't hesitate. I picked it up, I bought it, and yeah, it didn't break the bank. I'm not incredibly poor. Obviously, 24 Canadian dollars could be a lot of money to someone, but definitely I would consider this one of the best first purchases. that I've made in regards to emergency preparedness. Um, yeah, so that's that. So one one of the other weird things that I noticed is that it's not made in Canada, it's made in China. And I didn't take a look at the other brand, but I really should look up to see if there are any Canadian or American made water filters. Um, because another thing I would suggest you go watch, besides the Canadian Prepper video on advice for people who are just starting and the article on dehydration, it's a few weeks ago. Um, Joe Rogan had a journalist named Josh Rogan on his channel, and they were talking about China and a new book that Josh Rogan had written about regarding China and our reliance on them. And it's very, very fascinating, particularly if you love geopolitics. And, that's right down my alley. So I found it very fascinating that just like our mask issues that we had here in North America, the same thing goes for water filters. And as someone who owns a plumbing business, it's the same thing for water heaters, all your fittings, things like that. It's pretty much all produced in China, and that's a security issue as well. So I won't get into that, but yeah, definitely go check out Canadian Prepper's video on his advice for people just starting out. Uh, Check out Josh Rogan's interview with Joe Rogan on geopolitics in China. Super interesting. And yeah, and I don't know what I'm going to get next. Today, actually, we're going to look at a house. And with emergency preparedness in the back of my head, I'm thinking, how is this house helpful in regards to emergency preparedness? So hopefully, maybe I'll take some pictures or make a video. And yeah, water. Anyways, guys, take care of yourselves. Enjoy your day. And this is my video for Friday. Bye now.